Hey readers, welcome back to Reads with Rune B with me, Rune B. Today we are doing the second chapter of our secondary read, which is Gumshoes by Russell Nolte, The Case of Madison's Father. So, let's get to it. Chapter 2, Brilliant Deduction. Stuart stood in front of the bathroom sinks in the upstairs bathroom of East Willow Middle School, wearing nothing except his Dan Dash boxer shorts. He had filled two of the sinks with water to soak his shirt and pants as he vigorously lathered his hair with hand soap in a third. "No matter what I do, it's not coming off," said Stuart. Timothy stood next to the door, checking his maths homework on his graphing calculator. "I told you that the molecular composite of ova makes extraction without proper cleaning chemicals next to impossible. You should contact your parents and hopefully they can bring you a proper change of clothing." "Well, that's all well and good, but I still have to get through the halls wearing nothing but my skeevies. Wow, I didn't think this out, did I?" "What about your gym clothes?" Timothy said. "I'm sure they would be an effective substitute until your mother brings you an appropriate change of clothing. You're a genius. Can you do me a favor?" "Not only can I, but I will, depending on the nature of this favor. You know, on second thought, I don't like committing to a favor before I hear about it. After all, you could have me swimming in pig slop or something, or eating an earthworm. Quit being paranoid. All I need you to do is go to my gym locker and get my gym shorts. Can you do that for me, buddy?" Timothy considered every conceivable possibility before responding. "Yes. I don't see how that could get me in trouble. I'll do it." "Great, buddy. The combination is 26-47-9. Got it?" Timothy nodded his head and ran out of the bathroom. As the door closed, Stuart saw 3 girls walking towards the door. He glanced at the sun on the door and turned pale. He was in the girls' room. "Okay, Stuart, stay calm. You were distracted this morning. It's not your fault. People go into the wrong bathroom all the time. It's not weird. You'll just explain to them why you're in the wrong bathroom wearing your underwear." "It's ridiculous," he said. "There's no way they're going to think I'm a pervert." Thinking fast, Stuart lunged for the door and locked it just as one of the girls reached for the handle. The handle jiggled as they tried hard to get in. "What's going on here?" They banged on the door, causing such a ruckus that Stuart heard the distinct clicking of the vice principal Torres's loafers walking towards them. He slammed on the door. "This is the vice principal. I demand you open the door right now." "Well, you're in it now," Stuart thought. He opened his mouth, trying to sound mature as possible. "Sorry, but this bathroom is closed for repairs. Flooding from the flabbergaster has made everything smell like rotten eggs. We should have it fixed in about an hour or so. Don't want those kids to blow chunks in here. Really nasty business." Stuart waited, beads of sweat forming on his brow. Silence, and then Torres spoke. "Affirmative. I expect an update every 10 minutes until the situation is resolved." "Clear? Crystal clear, sir," Stuart said. "You can count on me." The footsteps moved away, and Stuart walked over to the sink, and he dabbed sweat away from his face with a paper towel. After several seconds of blissful silence, he nearly jumped out of his skin when he heard another slam on the door, louder this time, as if somebody had walked into it full force. "Ow!" Timothy said. "Stuart, open this door right now." Stuart ran over to the door. "Timothy? Who else would it be?" Timothy practically screamed at the door. "Now let me inside. I might have a concussion. I feel woozy." "Quit causing a scene. You're fine." Stuart cracked the door open and peered out. An entire 8th grade class and Principal Torres stood around the bathroom door, laughing their hardest. Stuart was mortified. Looked down to see Timothy on the ground, rubbing his head. Timothy held up the gym shorts. "I believe you requested these." Stuart and Timothy sat in the Vice Principal Torres' office, the one place in East Willow Middle School to be avoided in every possible way by every possible student. After all, Torres's mean scowl and tight military crew cut struck fear into the hearts of everybody, students and faculty alike. What were you two maggots thinking? The girls' bathroom? I could suspend you for this blatant act of disobedience. Vice Principal Torres screamed. What do you have to say for yourself? There better jolly well be a good explanation. Stuart's wet hair dripped onto his unkempt gym clothing. Well, you see, sir, it's actually a funny story. This morning I was on the bus, and wouldn't you know it, my breakfast fell all over my entire body. When we got to school, I went to the bathroom to wash it off, but wouldn't you have it all, I must have been so frazzled I misread the sign. Come on, Mr. Torres, haven't you ever misread a sign before? Torres's face cracked into the mildest of smiles. I'm going to be generous with you two, pond scum, because I've never had the pleasure of disciplining you before. Count your lucky stars from here to Graceland. Really, that's so cool of you, said Stuart. Go to class, boys. I'll see you in detention for the rest of your natural-born lives. 3/17/21. Timothy opened his locker. I've never had a single blemish on my record. My father will be furious. Can you believe that guy? Stuart said. Detention for the rest of our lives? That's just not fair. Doesn't he think the embarrassment is punishment enough? A large group of girls passed them in the hallway. They chuckled and snickered and pointed as they made their way past. All the previous humiliating moments in Stuart's life combined and magnified 1,000 times would not come close to the embarrassment he felt at this moment. I suppose not. If he had determined our punishment was sufficient, I suppose he wouldn't have given us a lifetime of detention. Timothy pulled books out of his locker, each one thicker than the last. Do you mind holding this for me for a moment? Timothy handed Stuart a calculus book, roughly the weight of a small planet. Wow, Timothy, what are you taking? High school level classes now? Timothy closed his locker. His arms were filled with organic chemistry, biology, and trigonometry textbooks. Heavens, no. This is a little light reading for my college placement exams. I want to start taking night classes at the junior college, and I need to burn up on these subjects during homeroom. Stuart tossed the book on top of Timothy's stack and watched him struggle in vain to balance the leaning tower as it swayed from side to side. The stack of books crashed to the floor. Hordes of students who saw the enormous mess on the floor refused to help. As Timothy and Stuart started reaching for the books, a group of jocks passed. One of them stepped on Timothy's hand with his spiky cleats. Another took a running start and kicked the book pile across the hallway, and then they ran away laughing and slapping each other on the back. Stuart sighed. Some people, man, I tell you. Yes, said Timothy, they are quite rude. As they crawled across the hallway to collect the books, Stuart heard a soft, sweet voice above him. Can I help? Stuart looked up to see an angel bathed in bright white light. Madison Alberts was every middle school boy's dream. Sweet, popular, cute as a button, and smart as a whip. She was about the only student that could even approach Timothy in terms of raw intellect, which irritated him to no end. And of course, Timothy's frustration tickled Stuart immensely. To top it off, she was about the only person who paid attention to Stuart in any meaningful way. In kindergarten, Madison had lent Stuart a purple crayon and allowed him to color with her, even though he was the class pariah. Moments like that, and hundreds of others, were the reason Stuart considered Madison the embodiment of all good, virtuous things in life. He was so smitten with her that he even liked the hideous, frilly pink pen that she kept tucked behind her perfect left ear. She had been wearing it all year for good luck, although it barely showed itself through her flowing blonde locks. Madison placed the last of Timothy's books on the now uniform stack and helped Stuart to his feet. Madison smiled. Sorry about that. People can be so rude. If it were up to me, I'd sock them all in the gut and teach them some manners. Yeah. Stuart lost all sense of himself in her pearly white teeth. The bell rang for class and Madison snapped to attention. Well, I'll see you in class. And with that, Madison ran off and disappeared into the classroom down the hall. You can stalk me in the gut anytime, said Stuart. Timothy gathered his massive stack of books and kicked Stuart in the shin, knocking him back into reality. She's gone, and thank goodness. If she'd heard that, she most definitely would have run away. Timothy pushed the partially dazed Stuart down the hall. Come on, let's get you to class. East Willow Middle School did not believe in separating students based on intellect or ability. They wanted students to exist in an egalitarian melting pot. Because of that, brilliant students like Madison and Timothy so often commingled with the likes of Chet and his cronies. It was chaos. Timothy and Stuart walked into the classroom to find it in shambles. Students were yelling at each other from across the rows of uneven desks and throwing paper airplanes. Phones played with incoming text messages. Madison was the only student even half paying attention to the overwhelmed teacher. She sat quietly in the middle of the classroom, reading from her assigned textbook and waiting for the lesson to begin. Stuart and Timothy took their seats towards the front of the class as the bell rang. That will be quite enough of these shenanigans, Miss Reston said, and slapped her ruler on the desk. And the entire class shuffled into their seats to face the front. Please take out a sheet of paper and a pen. We will begin class with a pop quiz, Ms. Reston said. Grumbles from around the class were followed by screeches and moans of, "Oh man, really? This is completely unfair." However, there was only one screech that Stuart honed in on. "Oh no, my pen!" Madison searched her hair to find the frilly pen that she kept tucked behind her ear. She stood, checking frantically around her desk, picking up her book, shaking at her folders, but the pen was nowhere to be found. Miss Reston called out from the front, "Is there something wrong?" "My pen, my lucky pen, the one my mother gave me." Madison looked down. Stuart refused to sit idle in this moment. His mind kicked into high gear, and mentally he retraced every second of the morning. After the short time, Stuart snapped his fingers and hopped up from his desk and darted out of the classroom. Miss Reston called after him, "Young man, you get back here right now." But Stuart was already out the door and halfway down the hall. Madison turned to Timothy. "Where is he going?" "Your guess is as good as mine. Personally, I hope you don't find it. You could stand to lose a few more GPA points to me." "Screw you, Timothy. I've got extra credit from journalism. That is just about has me caught up to you." "Well, I suppose I'll just have to rely on my high school and college credits to secure the GPA crown again this year." And before Madison could retaliate, Stuart burst back through the door, gripping the pink pen tightly in his hand, victorious. Madison's eyes lit up as she ran over to him and gave him a big hug. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. But how did you—" Stuart beamed with confidence as he handed the pen over to its rightful owner. "It was actually quite simple. Ever since the beginning of the school year, there's always been a subtle pink little fringe that keeps the left side of your hair locked in place as you walk. When you helped Timothy pick up his books earlier, the pen was over your ear, but by the time you walked past the trash can outside of class, your hair had been set free and was bouncing as if something had come loose. So I went back to the scene of crime, and sure enough, your pen had fallen out and rolled under the trash can. Simple deduction. You're my hero, Madison said. Stuart smiled. He experienced the both worst and best moments of his life in the span of a single school day. And that is the end of Gumshoes, The Case of Madison's Father, Chapter 2. Keep reading. Stay safe. Bye for now, readers.